Amigos y enemigos están invitados a mi funeral pa' que brinden por mí. Unos de tristeza, otros de alegría, pero todos juntos porque ya me fui.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Wine Talks. I am joined by the lovely
Daisy
and the gorgeous
David.
So how's everybody's Monday so far?
Horrible.
The beginning was horrible.
Yeah, but
and then
now
after 4, it started getting better.
after this glass of wine, it's pretty good.
It's awesome.
Cheers to that, sister.
Oh gosh, these are a hot mess. They've been a hot mess all day. I'm like to that point where I have to separate them.
To the point where he's like contagious.
Oh my gosh, so listen to this really quick. Daisy and I decided to go into the liquor store to go get a couple of bottles of wine. And Daisy's the one who was buying because Jesus and I bought dinner. So Daisy's like, hey, I'll buy the wine for tonight. And so we go in and she gets this big bottle of Arbor Mist. And then another bottle.
It's delicious, by the way.
Yeah, really good. Cheap wine. We're cheap. You know us.
It's really good though.
And then another bottle of Boone's Farm. And she goes up to the cashier. And she gives the cashier the bottles. And she's like, these aren't all for me, by the way. And what did the cashier say?
It's your story. Tell it how you want it. That's cool thing about me getting drunk. Well, I am drunk, but
Whatever. You're not the
She
only
was
one,
like,
girl.
this girl,
this girl.
this little tiny girl.
She's an alcoholic.
She really did look at us, though. She's like, wait a minute. You guys are ridiculous. She didn't even ID me because she was probably scared of both of us. Okay, anyway.
See, hot mess, guys. This is what I have to deal with.
Oh my god.
Oh gosh. It's
We
like
bring life
separate.
to his day.
Exactly. We're the reason why your Monday is better.
Yeah.
Is that what they think? All right,
Oh.
well,
Okay, Monday.
So we really should get Leslie in here then.
Yeah.
we gotta get Leslie.
Replacement. Bye.
Gosh, no, to replace both of you. We're getting Leslie in.
Please.
Leslie's not.
We're
hot.
gonna have then our own separate podcast, and then we're gonna do so much better, and you're gonna want to join our podcast.
Then
gonna
you're
be
be
like-
jealous.
Welcome to another episode of Hot Mess.
That's actually a
That's a
very
good one.
title.
We'll get drunk every time before.
Oh my gosh, me and
When
Leslie
your
will
life's
be
a
all
hot mess.
sophisticated.
Listen to us.
So today, guys, I do want to talk about death.
Oh, well,
Ooh,
that got
I
serious.
love That went from laughter to
To hot
dun,
mess to
dun,
death.
dun.
Dun. Well, I want to talk about death in a light matter.
I love light.
One of the things that I think is so funny, Davina and I were watching the TV series called The Big C.
I love it.
Oh, I
And
thought you were gonna say Forensic Files.
oh gosh, no, I love those ones too.
That's
but
death
no.
too, but
That's
what?
death.
But we were watching it, and one of the girls commits suicide, and her obviously she's planning on committing suicide, and she
I think that means
plans.
skip this
Wait,
this
who?
episode.
She kills herself. She shoots herself in the head.
Oh, you're talking. Okay, yes. Okay.
Okay,
I got you.
Well, if you haven't watched it, it's a really good show.
Spoiler
Spoiler
alert.
alert.
Too late.
No,
She shot herself.
because you don't know. Anyways, so because she commits suicide, she has the ability to, before she commits suicide, she plans her own funeral. And so I was thinking about that.
Well, you could plan your own funeral without committing suicide. Just so
Well,
you
yeah,
know,
but
FYI.
still, you know what I mean? Like,
Throwing that out there.
she knew it was coming, so she planned it all and everything. So I kind of wanted to know
gotta
that
die.
once and let's keep this
It's
light.
inevitable.
Let's keep this light.
Okay.
Once you guys were to go, what would be like what would you want people to do at your funeral? And then going along with that, like, what do you want
I think
people
we should.
to do with your body?
I think we should also give credit to.
Not necrophilia.
Oh shit! Wow. Talk about dark. We just turned the lights off.
Thank you for listening. We're gonna end this here.
This is bye. Just kidding. We should also give credit to Wine Talks podcast. I mean, Wine Talks. Okay, yeah, let's give credit to them and an Acquired Taste podcast because they also
Yes.
did this kind of same thing, lighthearted, planning your own funeral. But I'm totally down for the idea. So we're all on the spot, kind of.
Okay.
Let's plan our funerals.
I already have mine.
All right, go Daisy.
But don't be dark. I mean, kind of look at the light side of it. Like,
Are you trying to censor me in my own podcast?
Are you offended?
Yes.
All right,
Doesn't
Daisy.
matter. I'm gonna tell you anyways.
What is this day gonna look like for you, Daisy?
So, I want to be buried in one of those tree pods. I don't know if you guys know what that is,
I don't.
but basically, your body is full of nutrients and shit. And when you get put into a coffin, the coffin prevents your body from this, like, not dissolving, what's the word? I'm sorry.
Oh crap! I know exactly.
Decomposing.
Decomposing.
As quickly as it could, because it's covered in iron. It's covered, like, depending on, like, if you want, like, a maple one, I don't know what the some, like, plasticky coffin, whatever the fuck you want, it, like, prevents your body from decomposing, and then by the time it decomposes, it could be, like, contaminated, and so you don't really become nutrients for the earth. You become, like, seeping and like, contamination is what you end up being, and so originally I wanted to be in like one of those wicker caskets.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
They're, like, made out of weave or whatever, but they help you decompose more naturally.
So that you can become kind of like how the plants are in those baskets where you can just plant the whole pot and then it becomes its own.
But now you can be there's, like, special burials that let you be buried with other nutrients and stuff that trees actually, like, nourish off of. So basically you grow up to be a tree.
I like it.
Is that expensive?
I think it runs about, like, 10 grand or so, but I feel like
not
that's
too
how
bad.
much a funeral is anyways.
Even more.
Yeah, and so I've always wanted to be that because I have a belief that your energy doesn't die. Your energy just gets translated to something else, like kind of that theory, that energy doesn't die.
Yeah.
And so I want my energy to be passed on to a tree and to grow, and like that's how I feel like that's what happens in the wilderness. When, like, a deer or something dies, they become part of that chain and they grow and they become nutrients for that ecosystem. And I feel like we're always trying to get back to nature.
It's the circle of life.
Oh my gosh.
But basically, I just feel like my whole point is I feel like cemeteries are pointless.
Okay.
So
Do you believe in reincarnation?
yeah, I'll be reincarnated as a fucking tree.
Hell, we gonna chop her down.
Come visit me, bitch.
No, I do.
Okay, question. Okay, I get the whole burial part of it, but even more, like Jesus said, on kind of a lighthearted note of it, like before your burial, or before your cremation, or exactly however you want to do it, like, how do you want your family to celebrate your life? How do you want them to, like, what do you think of when you pass away? Like, everybody thinks of it kind of a sad thing, but, like, what do you want for your celebration of life? Like, what do you want after you pass away, besides the tree? I get the tree part of it, because that's your legacy after, like, long term, but, like, short term, like, what do you want to happen?
Because I want it to be as natural as possible. There won't be, like, any embalming or anything like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
that,
yeah.
like, preserves and it stops, like, the decomposition of the body. So there will be no like, wake or anything like that. Just have, like, tons of pictures of me from when I was 15, young and beautiful.
Don't put any of the wrinkly pictures.
Don't put any of the wrinkly or the fat ones or Photoshop them, okay? Like, come on.
Smash me up.
But like a party,
Yeah, but, like, how do you want that? Like, I get it, like a party, but
Come
how do you want that?
together,
Like, what do you
have
want to
a
happen
dinner,
at that?
like, tell your best story about me. Don't come if I didn't like you.
Don't act fake.
She has a list.
Don't yeah. It'll
You
be
are
like
on this
my
list, you're
wedding,
not
but it'll
invited.
be like an invitation list,
Invitation only to come to the funeral.
To the funeral.
You are now invited.
Yeah.
What about you, Damien?
I want mine. Similar to Daisy. I want my whole tree thing. I agree. Like, it's funny because me and her, or her and I, talked about it, and I decided I want to be made into a tree of flaming maple because I'm gay AF. And I just so the tree thing. Obviously, yeah, that's like the post after I'm gone, like after you guys celebrate my life. But if I'm all honest, like, I need from the beginning I want everybody to. We're pouring our wine.
We're doing a refill.
It's called the Wine Talks for a reason. Actually, to be honest, this is the first time in like
The whole year.
6 podcasts. Oh yeah, whole year.
The whole year.
And like for 6 podcasts
like
that we
2
decided
weeks
to
in,
drink
Daisy.
wine.
Well, it feels like a lot longer than that. Like, I'm over 2018 already.
Stacey's like the whole year. I'm like just 2 weeks without wine, Daisy. That's not very long.
Agreed, girl. I'm over 2018 too.
No.
But so I want when I die, I want people to just have fun. Like, I don't want anybody to wear black to my shit. Like, if you're wearing black, get the fuck out of my. Even if black is your color,
slimming.
I don't give a fuck if black is slimming. You know?
Aye.
Wear dark blue. That shit's slimming too. I just want people to have fun, and I don't mean like. I mean, I guess I think of people coming to funerals, and if you have fun, it's kind of like taboo. Like, oh, why are you having fun if we were like mourning his death? But I don't want that. I want people to come.
But you do a celebration of life.
Yes,
rather than
that's
mourn
exactly what I
death,
want.
right?
Though I want a celebration of my life. I want people to play my YouTube videos of me singing, and people to be like, "Oh, he was never famous, but he sang anyways."
He was low-key famous to be.
He was low-key YouTube,
YouTube
Utah,
famous.
Salt Lake, Jesus' address famous. That's it. Yeah, I want that. I want people to eat the Cheesecake Factory. So make sure you go to the Cheesecake Factory. Get my favorite plate from there. Eat
It'll be
lots
like
of.
your little celebration of
Yeah,
death.
no, that's what I want. Like, are you
Wow,
serious?
can
Like,
you die already?
What's
This
your
meal sounds really
favorite?
delicious.
It's really good.
Eat cheesecake. I want you guys to drink lots of tequila, please. Please drink tequila and wine.
And wine.
Yes, wine.
I'll
But
drink some wine
at least
for
take a
you.
shot for me of tequila.
Pour some for my homie.
Yeah, there you go.
Ah.
Exactly. No, I mean serious though. Yeah, I like tequila, and then I want lots of Adele played at my funeral. It's sad, but that's my
Do you
favorite
want an
artist
open
ever.
casket?
Hell no. And the only reason I don't want an open casket is because I've seen so many open caskets where people just come to take pictures of the body, and I don't want
Ooh,
people to.
That's morbid.
disrespectful.
Oh yeah, I had my straight up my grandpa's funeral. They came and I saw so many people taking pictures of him, and I was so furious about it. And I was just like, I don't think that you should be allowed to do that. And my grandpa always said, which is another thing that bothered me, because he would never go to funerals because he always said, I'd rather remember the person living than as I were to see them dead.
It's true. Plus, it's just so unnatural. Like if you've ever seen somebody in a casket, it's so unnatural.
Oh, yeah. They're not
Like,
them. They're not
they're
them.
not them.
No, they're not.
And for people to remember that, I don't know.
Like, I'll even admit, my grandpa didn't look anything like
I've
he
only been
looked
to
in life.
one open casket, and it
Yeah.
was like,
It's sad. It's
Hard.
depressing. Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't do it. Like whenever I think it's more. Oh no, I was gonna say it's more of like an American thing, but no, because like Hispanics do it as well. But I don't know. I remember when Davin's grandpa passed away. I remember they were like, "Okay, go go pay your respects," and I was like, oh, not because I didn't want to, because
It's
I
hard
love the
to.
man,
It's
but I
hard.
was just like, I don't want to see him.
See, neither did I.
don't-
I didn't even want to
oh.
go to the funeral home. My mom, I got off work that day, and I came home, and my parents were getting ready. All my family was getting ready to go. My mom was like, "Let's go," and I told her, I was like, "I don't want to go. I don't want to go see him as like that." And without getting like too crazy or whatever, she ended up convincing me, blah blah blah, and I just did it to pay my respects. But it's very hard, and that's exactly why I don't want an open casket, because I don't want people to see me that way. I want them to remember me how I am now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like I saw one of my friends died when I was in high school, and he died of leukemia.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Young.
he was young. And we went to the children's hospital, and they told us, they were like, "Do you like?" His parents came out, and they were like, "Do you want to see him? Like he's still." They basically had to disconnect him from the breathing machine.
If this is getting too
Sorry,
dark
if
for
it-
you,
yeah.
no, yeah. If this is getting too dark and death isn't something that you like to listen to,
We'll see you
definitely
next
tune in.
week.
Yeah, we'll see you
Yeah,
next week.
sorry.
But we also like to explore different things on this podcast, and we're never afraid to touch any subject. So if this week's podcast isn't for you, totally tune out.
Yeah.
And then come with us next week, and we'll be here.
I'm more happy.
Yes, but
Just don't leave.
But-
Don't stop listening.
life is life, and
Yeah.
we have to deal with every aspect
And
of it. So,
hopefully you don't have to deal with loss anytime soon. But
Yes.
loss comes in life,
and if you ever need
So.
us, we're here as well. So we've all experienced
Yeah.
big parts of loss in our life.
Yeah.
So. Okay,
Yeah.
continue your story.
So she he had been fighting leukemia on and off for years, and she came out and she asked us if we wanted to see him. Like I had come to the hospital to see him before, and he like had been talking. So in my head I thought, yeah, and then she said, well, I just gotta warn you, like he doesn't look like himself. He's been through chemo. Like it's, like we have to disconnect him. He's non-responsive. So just so you're aware, like you can come say goodbye, but he doesn't look like the same, And at that moment I was like, well, he's my friend. Like I don't care, right?
Yes.
And so I went into the room and I like hugged him and I felt so bad. And I left the room and it didn't really like hit me right then, but it was like a couple weeks after we went to the funeral, and like I kept trying to think of my friend, like the happy friend that always made me laugh, and it was really hard. Like all I could remember was like his heavy breathing and like there's just that empty stare. And to this day, like I try, like I think of him, but without fail the first image that comes to my mind is that image at the hospital bed. And I'm like, and I remember after that, like all the other good memories come,
Yeah.
But that was just so, like his eyes were just not him.
Yeah. And those good memories come, but that end thought is always that end of what you saw the last.
Yeah.
I get
so,
I get
yeah,
it.
so I wouldn't want people to remember me as being hollow and not really there, or
Full of life, happy.
Yeah,
healthy.
when you guys remember me as laughing and like making you.
But I also
laugh,
feel like
drinking lots of wine.
I also feel like that's very different though, because I understand that where it's like, let's say same thing with me. I would want people to remember me as happy, me. Like oh my gosh, he was so fun, like he was ratchet. But at the same time, like think about this: if I were to pass away, okay, would you? And they gave you the option, Daisy, and maybe it's not what I'm thinking, but let's say you didn't get to say goodbye to me. Let's say tomorrow morning you get a phone call, and it's just Jesus passed away last night, and then that happens. Would you still be like, I just don't want to see him? Or because we're so close, you'd be like, I just want to hug him one last time, I want to hold him, I just want to see him one last time? Because I get what you're saying, where it's like sometimes it's like you kind of don't want to have that picture, but I'm also putting myself in the situation where it was like, if anything were to happen to you, I wouldn't want to see you there, laying in a casket, not being yourself. But at the same time, I feel like part of me would be like, fuck, I just want to hug her, I just want to hold her hand one more time.
But here's my honest opinion, okay? I don't really know, because I've never had, other than him, I really haven't had like a family member or a sibling or anything like that
Super
close to me, or a friend that close die to me, and knock on wood. Right. But I believe in spirits, and I believe that if at that point I recognize, like, looking back into it, I'm like, he wasn't there. His spirit wasn't there.
That's what I say too.
I could have gone outside to the mountain or wherever, to his favorite place and connected with his spirit there. I didn't really need to see him like that.
I totally agree.
Gotcha. That makes sense, yeah.
I totally
agree.
agree.
When I was there, like, I didn't even miss a fucking beat. Like, she told me, you want to see him? He's not the same. And I was like, I'm there. But
maybe doing it now, you wouldn't do it.
Maybe now I wouldn't do it. I'd be like, you know what? I know the memories I shared with him. I know that if I go outside or wherever I go to connect with him, he will be there, because that's his spirit.
I
agree 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, with my husband, it would be different, because you have to be the caretaker, right? Like,
absolutely.
Like, no matter what, you have to take care of that person.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Or even with like your parents.
Yeah.
You know
exactly.
Because
there's nobody else. But if I could, like, if God forbid, but like if something happened to my mother and you would offer to take care of the arrangements, I would be like, thank you.
Yeah.
You know, because
yeah.
I understand. Yeah, it's definitely hard. Okay, let's bring this back to life.
No, I think it's so sad. Like, and even if you're listening to this, it's sad. But like, you have to experience these lows to feel the highs. Like, like Daisy said, like she hasn't experienced too close, but that doesn't mean that she hasn't felt really bad sadness, or like even Daisy said, like she's experienced depression before in her life, and like these are the things you have to kind of prepare for. Jesus has gone through really bad depression because of losing his mom. My mother even right now is just experiencing a really bad depression because of losing her grandma. Like, it's something that you have to deal with.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, we just gave the disclaimer, just like, death is a part of life, and sometimes it's a part of change and becoming a new person and finding that strength that you never thought you had. And it's dark, but you can always also find the light part of death, and that's kind of what we're trying to
because
bring here.
Think about it, like.
I don't think we're bringing it.
Well, no, it doesn't matter if you're bringing it though, but like exactly what we're saying is like there's dark parts, but just like I said, like fucking drink tequila at my funeral, drink wine, listen to Mexican music, listen to fun.
Celebrate that person, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because
celebrate that person.
think about like death itself is already horrible. I think
It is.
like it's a big kind of an emptiness. But think about like, say for example, like I die and you guys are fighting over a fucking laptop or some shit like that.
bullshit,
You know,
yeah.
Which happens.
like
Oh.
which happens. People are
It
petty
happens.
AF. You know, or like what if I wanted daisies and you guys are fighting whether they're orange or whether they're pink. You know, it's like that's
Bullshit.
not what that's supposed to be. And if you can eliminate
I got
that.
hella people to call right now, but I'm not gonna do it.
But I've seen it at work, like where we have
Oh,
accounts
yeah.
and stuff like that, and people will come and fight for like fucking $50, and I'm like, are you serious? You broke? You don't have $50? Like, let your
Celebrate
father
that
rest in
life.
peace.
Yeah.
You know, or they'll be like, one of my customers said, yeah, like the day after my father died, like I was in such grief, and like some like third uncle called me and said, hey, do you remember that medal your dad got back in whenever, whatever? Like he told me I could have it when he died, and I'm like, so you're just waiting for people to fucking drop to take
Get
their
the
shit?
medal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just like think about it for the people who grieve for you as well, you know, or who is gonna miss you. Like, don't make things harder for them if you can.
Yeah.
You know, like
And definitely grieve and have those sad moments, because that lets you know that obviously you loved and missed that person, but don't forget to also turn around and use those lessons that those people taught you to make your life better and to grow as a person, because you sitting here taking each day for granted isn't going to help anything. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
their
Like,
advice is like their biggest legacy,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
What they leave
Mhm.
behind in you.
yeah. So, with the light-hearted side of it, Jesus, like, how would you want people to remember you at that moment? Like, if you die, like, what would you want your celebration of life to be?
I love musicals. So
my
I
God.
oh my gosh.
So Daisy will play Sandy, and I will
Oh
play.
my
¿Cómo se
gosh.
llama? Del otro, del Grease.
Gosh, I don't remember. What's his name? Oh gosh, I don't remember. But I know
Summer
what I'm
loving had me blessed.
You'll be the John Travolta.
Yeah, I'll be John Travolta.
my
You'll be
gosh.
Olivia Newton-John. I'm ready.
Yeah.
You're already
for
blonde,
that shit. So I guess that
You better get your leather tight suit ready, girl.
Oops.
Oops. Let me finish the glass of wine.
Put down the wine. Put down the wine. I
Okay,
love
so-
musicals. I would love like musical music to be playing all the time. I just love
What
musicals.
musical though?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. I love Hairspray.
I would want Wicked to be playing at my.
I love Rent.
Wicked. Oh.
Oh my gosh, there's so many. I could go on forever. But no,
So just
same thing.
all
I
the
just
musicals?
want
So
yeah.
High School Musical.
I just not High School Musical.
So if you had to pick a musical to be at your funeral, you would pick Wicked,
Oh hell yeah!
and you would pick
Oh
You have
my
to pick
gosh.
one.
Just one.
Because I would want to be. I heard it said that people come into our lives.
Oh gosh, I want mine to be
reason.
fun. I don't want mine to be all sad.
Mine's
That's
all
a sad
sad. I'm
song.
like,
Gosh, I would probably do. Oh gosh, this is a hard one. I love my
you
newest.
probably do Footloose, Hot Mess.
No, not for those. I'd probably do The Greatest Showman as of right now because that,
Oh, yeah, he
I
loves
love
that. Oh, yeah.
that new musical.
What about you? Are you a musical girl?
Which one?
Avenue Q.
I've never even heard of that
seen it.
musical.
Oh, that's the only one I know. I like it.
I mean, I guess if I were to choose the ultimate musical, I would choose Selena, but
Oh
bitty bitty bam bam, you know.
Oh my
Todos
God.
juntos, por favor. Oh my goodness. No, but yeah, I would definitely do. I don't know. I just want mine to be like you guys said, just a celebration.
Okay, another
Um,
question, I guess, around what food for sure would you want? I said the Cheesecake Factory, but that's a lie. I don't want tacos al pastor.
Enchiladas.
Enchiladas. What about you?
Gosh, I would. Oh, see, if my mom could make her caldo de camarón, that's exactly what I would have everybody eat. But I'd probably do some sort of tacos too.
You can't say you copycat siempre.
Gosh,
Siempre.
that's my
Always.
favorite thing.
Oh my goodness.
Tacos
my
de carnitas.
gosh.
That's what you would choose.
Yeah.
And you'd have a hecka candy out there.
Oh,
my
true.
gosh,
Yeah,
it'd
you
be
would.
Nothing, but I would have a popcorn machine.
Oh, that's true.
That's for sure. There'd be a popcorn machine.
Only
It'd
go,
be
go
free.
right in with the greatest showman.
Circus AF.
Yes. Yeah. I want that.
What about drink? What drink would be your preference of drink? Tequila sunrise. Sorry, not sorry.
Mimosas.
It'd have to be on a Sunday morning. Somewhere around 11:30, 12 o'clock.
Oh.
Brunch.
Pineapple rum for me. Ooh.
Oh, Malibu pineapple.
Yeah.
We're not alcoholics.
Love it. See, but mine's light. Mine's not all
Tequila.
champagne and tequila.
Champagne is light. It's like the bubbliest.
I once knew this girl that drank 2 mimosas. And
Oh
like,
my
no,
gosh.
you remember her?
Do you remember that one girl, Daisy, who drank 2 mimosas?
Leslie.
Wait, be careful. She's never drunk in her life. Don't talk about her.
Yeah, gosh, don't put a bad reputation on Leslie like that.
Oh.
We're joking.
It was Daisy.
She's like, shit, I gotta out myself.
Right. I guess
But
I'll
yeah,
take it.
no, I would just do something light like that. I definitely don't want an open casket either. And then...
But I wanted to take a selfie.
Oh, gosh. Alright, you can take your selfie.
I had this family member that was seriously recording.
Le hablo a la boquita. He's smiling.
You know what I don't think is fine? Actually, on the subject, I'm gonna beat you to it, Davin. When people post pictures of whoever it is that's passing away on social media. I am sorry, but I've had so many friends
Who
recently
the fuck
doing
is
that.
doing that
Yes.
shit?
Oh, somebody.
And it's like, and it's to the point where it's like, I think about it because even like this one person ended up taking a picture of their
Family.
Dead
family
person?
member. Yes.
Oh, their person. Okay.
But it was like a pose. Like imagine this person laying in bed,
Passing away.
probably on their last
Massive.
hour, and imagine you handing over the phone to somebody and saying, "Here, take a picture," going over and hugging them and posing for a picture. Like I don't see that. I don't even. I don't even
get it.
No. But I don't even understand when people go ahead and their significant or their special someone has already passed away, and they go ahead and they grab their hand. To think that I. Oh my gosh, I'm sounding very judgy, but maybe it's just my
Judge
own
away.
personal.
This is
I
Wine
just-
Talk, safe space.
I just don't understand. Like,
if you
let's say-
disagree, give us comments.
if my significant other, if my best friend, if my family member, if somebody had just passed away, I can't imagine myself going over to them, grabbing their hand, pulling out my phone, and finding the right angle to take a picture of both of our
This
hands.
lighting isn't good. Let me get over here.
Like I'm just like, oh my gosh, like
It's
and then
horrible.
posting it. One thing, and I did
Keeping
this.
it to yourself.
I did this when like one of my really close mentors and really close teachers passed away when I was in high school. His name was Matt, and I remember I went to his funeral, and same thing, I didn't want to see him, but I went to his funeral, and afterwards, you know, with all the beautiful flowers in his casket, I did take a picture, and I did post that on social media, and I paid my respects, and I just talked about how amazing of a teacher and a mentor he was to me. But that is so completely different. Taking a picture of a closed casket, beautiful flowers around it, maybe the amazing people, and that means disagreeing with me, but it was just like, for me, that's a little bit less than me going over and taking a picture.
No, and I agree with that. I guess with me even more though. I just feel like that's such a disrespect. I'm not saying you're disrespecting your teacher, like obviously blah blah blah. But like with my grandpa, I did take pictures of his casket, and I took pictures of the church ceremony. I took pictures of the burial, but I all kept those to myself just because I wasn't trying to tell people, here is this person, here is my family member who passed away, like give me,
It's so hard.
like pay respects to
Sympathy.
me, give me sympathy. I took those for me, and I didn't take pictures of my grandpa inside of his casket. I took it closed with the flowers all around, blah blah, but I kept those for my own personal, I want to remember that day
Yeah,
for
I mean,
myself.
I don't know how I would feel about people posting pictures of me if I'm fucking dying. It'd be like,
Oh
you
no,
wanna
if
take
I'm
a picture
dying,
of my
yeah.
vagina while
No,
you're
true.
at it?
Like that's true though. Like freaking true.
Like, I won't care. I'm gonna be dead. But like,
or even
you know.
going live. Like, what if somebody took a a
Oh,
video of you
there were
live?
those
Like,
one kids that like in the forest or whatever. In
Oh my gosh.
YouTube.
Oh yeah.
what's his
The
Logan
YouTuber.
Paul? I don't even want to say his name, but sorry, that's his fucking name.
Well, yeah, like that's super disrespectful. Super disrespectful. Yeah.
No, it is. And we've already gotten into this conversation before, and
But
all of us got angry.
I'll tell you
all of us
what.
got
If
angry.
you take a picture of me when I'm fucking dying,
You're getting
guess
him limp
what
dick.
are you gonna? Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Daisy's
You're
thing is
getting
always
limp dick.
wait. What about a girl? What's
What's
she gonna
she
get?
get?
Because you can give all the guys in the
You
world
gotta
limp
get
dick, but
droopy tits and
Ain't gonna touch the floor.
you gotta have to stuck them in your socks.
Oh
you don't
my
get
God.
pepperoni
You
nipples,
won't get
bitch.
nothing.
Baloney nipples.
You gotta be swinging and be like, oh, careful, girl.
I always just wonder. Like, I feel like death is so personal. And like, for example, with me, when my mom passed away, we were trying to fundraise, and we were trying, to raise money because she was battling cancer. So there was, a lot of chemotherapy, a lot of doctor visits, and those bills rack up. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And the
Very
last
quickly.
thing we wanted on my mom's mind as she's fighting for her life is, how am I going to pay those bills? And so it was one of those things where, like, we
Ooh,
did
baby.
fundraising, and my friends were so loving and so supportive, and they would, repost the stuff that we were doing to fundraise, and they would
Yeah.
come and show up and everything. And my mom passed away, and I didn't post anything that day. And then the next day, what I posted was a beautiful picture of her, and then
That's more classy.
Yeah,
me
exactly.
just saying that she had passed away. And it wasn't like a...
There's no begging for sympathy. It
I was gonna say
celebrating
exactly,
her
and it
life.
wasn't even just because for us we do, since we're Mexican, we don't really, I guess, do like a viewing, but we're Catholic, so we have a big mass that all of that person's significant special others come and pay their respects, and then we also do what's called velorio.
It's like a wake.
Where like you just you pray the rosary for a week. And so obviously I wanted to post about that so that whoever wanted to join us could join us. And so I feel like that's something completely different than
No,
me
it's not
posting.
a feel sorry for. It's like if you knew my mother and you want to pay respects to her, come, and we're doing this stuff for her.
And I think one thing that I want to say right now that we're talking about this, and I feel like I've always been, I guess I've kind of been like cowarding away from it, but when my mom passed, and this is over a year ago, there were a lot of friends and a lot of special people who reached out to me, that to this day I haven't replied to.
What's hard, dude?
And I want to say, like, and if anybody's listening or any of those friends, like, it's so hard. It's so hard for me to even think about it. And I feel like I still haven't dwelled with my mom passing away just yet, because I don't usually say, oh yeah, my mom's passed away. I always say, like, my mom's not with us, or my mom's not here. I don't know why it's so hard for me to just say the words, she died. And it's just something that, like, I deal with, and I think that was because my inbox was full of so many messages of friends that maybe I hadn't talked to in 2, 3, 4 years that just reached out to me and said, hey, I heard what happened. I just want to say that, you impacted my life in this sort of way, and I'm with you and your family. And I, to this day, don't have the balls to reply to them. And I just want to say it loud and clear that it's not because I am being rude or because I simply don't care, but I haven't. A lot of those things were like previews that I saw of these people reaching out, and I didn't even have like the courage to actually click and open up the message. And I feel like recently I started going through a couple of those, and I reached out to a couple of people, and it was like, like I said, a year later. And I don't know, it's definitely hard. And it's hard because I feel like we all want to celebrate our lives, to be like, I want to celebrate my life, but it's
you do
so
have to
hard.
mourn, Like, I'm a person, shockingly, that I'm not very good with words. And I remember when your mom passed away, and I think I've told you this story before, but I almost didn't come to see you. Did I tell you that?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
You did. Okay, then never
I think
mind. I guess
no,
I won't
no,
bring it up.
no, yeah. I think you did on that day. And
Yeah,
you were just so
so-
emotional, but because you felt so much that you
Yeah.
didn't really want to come.
So I almost didn't come, and on the way coming, I was like telling my sister was visiting from Mexico, and I was telling her because we were getting ready for my wedding.
Yes.
Good Lord, I was like, okay, fucking chaos. But I knew you, and we weren't that close yet. But my mom was like, well, we should go pay our respects. And I was like, but I don't really know what to say to him. And my sister was like, well, who is this? And then I started telling him, and I was starting telling, like, I just, like, and my sister was like, well, tell him something that you would like to hear. And the whole drive here to your house, I was like,
I have nothing.
I have nothing. Like, I wouldn't want to see anybody. I don't know what to say. I don't know what you want to hear. And my sister was like, you know what? Like, just be you. And
you were,
he will feel your feeling, like, your care. And I remember that day, like, I was, like, practicing, like, something that I should say, you know, like, oh, like, she was so good, or, you know, like, which is true, but, you know, I was just like, just keep it light, just, like, say I'm sorry, like, just hug and goodbye. And then I saw you, and it was just, like, floodgates. Wow. And we just started, like, crying and crying.
See, but that was the best thing, though, because it wasn't over. And I remember, I wasn't, obviously, I didn't really know you by then.
I don't think
too
I knew
much,
you then,
no, but I was standing from afar, and I just remember it. But it's like,
you
sometimes you just,
anything.
that's what, you didn't, but that was exactly what he needed. Mm-hmm. He needed someone to cry with. And sometimes, like, especially if you're helping somebody more through something, sometimes you don't need to say anything.
Gosh,
sometimes
and I remember
you just need a hug.
One of the hardest things was people telling me, like, oh, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. You're gonna be good. And I remember I had one of my aunts, my tia Maria, came up to me, and she saw me, and I remember I was calm, and she came straight to me and she hugged me. And I remember the moment you feel that embrace, especially going through a situation like that, like, I bawled. And I remember the one thing that she told me, and I remember it so specifically because she held me and she said, cry. She said, llora, mijo. She's like, llora, just cry. She was like, cry. And I remember I was sobbing, and I was, like, almost, like, yelling, and I was just crying, and I couldn't get myself to stop. But for somebody to just come up to me and tell me, cry. Like, it's okay for you to cry during a time like that, when everybody's just telling, you know, like, yeah, be tough, like, everything's gonna be okay, you know, especially with me being the oldest son, and having a little sister, and having people tell me, you know, like, you gotta be strong for your sister. It was one of those moments where it was just like, for somebody to come up to me and just tell me that it was okay to cry was amazing. For people to come up to me and say absolutely nothing like you did, Daisy, and just hug me, and just to feel that embrace
and not expect anything either. You didn't expect anything back. You didn't, like, want words back. You literally just said, I love you, I'm here for you. You literally was like, I'm gonna go now.
Well, the thing is, like, I feel like when you have true feeling, you're, like you said, you're not looking for that right angle. You're not looking for the photo, right? Yeah. All you have is feeling.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. No, and that's, I mean, and, like, of course, yeah, if you feel like you want to offer condolences to somebody, definitely do it. But sometimes, like I said, sometimes those people
sometimes
just
you don't know
need
what to say.
And for those people,
just need to cry, and they don't need to hear it's okay. And sometimes they do. It's just, like, depending on if you know that person, but don't overcompensate also when someone's grieving, because it can also do harm.
And I think it's always good, like, if you don't know what to say, just being there. Like, there were so many of my friends
seeing your face
who literally, I was like, I would not have expected you to come. Like, not because they're not good friends, but just because, you know, I had friends who didn't know, you know, who are not Catholic, who don't know the rosary.
Or don't know your mom.
Who had never even met my mom.
But they were so
these friends
impacted.
Came here. Like, I remember, like, people sent me flowers. Like, Lisa and the Gigawatts family. Like, they sent me this beautiful arrangement. And
which we still have to this day.
My friend from Vegas, you know, made a donation to the Cancer Foundation in my mom's name and sent me a card, you know, sending her condolences. And it's just one of those things where it's like, if you're going through something and maybe you're just like, gosh, I don't know what to say, I didn't even meet them, it really, like, it makes such a difference just to show up and just to be there and just like I said, you don't even, let's say you don't even talk to that person, but just the fact that that person can see you there. Like, I remember when we had my mom's mass, I didn't think anybody would show up. And it was packed. It was packed, and it just felt so amazing to know that my mom made such a big difference, you know, that made such an impact on so many people. And I just feel like that's kind of what I would want for me.
And I don't know if you knew this, but, like, Mitchell went to that.
Oh, yeah.
Mitchell went to the mass?
Oh wait, no, I didn't know that. I was
I
thinking
didn't
of
know
your
that.
mom's
So
bosses.
Because I had told him about it. I was like, yeah, they have the 12 thing or whatever, and he said that he went, but that he didn't know anybody, and that like there were so many people that he just kind of went and then left. But I'm like, he's
That's
like,
cool,
oh,
no,
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's just so amazing to see this love and support, and I think that's one of the things that I love. I feel like, to end this up, that's exactly what I would want. At my funeral, I want people to come. I don't care if it's 5 people, or I don't care if it's 10 or hundreds of people. I just want those people that at some point, whether it was big or whether it was small, to just come and celebrate my life and say, you know what, this man at some point, like, you know, said something that really stuck with me, or made a difference, or always made me smile, or always pissed me off.
Mine
whatever
would be
reason
he was
it
an
could be.
asshole to me one day. And
No. I think people
okay,
forget
so
that
here's
shit.
some advice then on death, or not even like, I don't know, something
Okay,
kind
I got
of
it.
pertaining to
I think that, you know, in a more practical advice, so that you don't have to. You don't have to. I feel like when you die, you sometimes like leave a little bit of a burden to the people around you. You know, like financially and emotionally, and you can't really help the emotional part as much. But if you get something like life insurance, then you don't have to worry them about the financial part of it either. Because I mean, I don't mean to like bash on your mom at any means, but if she had life insurance, then you wouldn't have to be worrying about like how much you were gonna pay to send her to Mexico, how you were gonna pay like her medical bills, you know, as simple as that. Like, you're already going through so much shit, like why have to worry about something
Bills.
superficial as bills? Yeah,
Right.
I don't know. Like, I think that's something that I could do for my special people from beyond the grave. I don't know.
Here's $300,000, bitch.
I better get at least 10,000 of that. I'm not on the life insurance bill, but I know that I got some bills to pay
You're
after you're gone.
welcome.
Like, Daisy, can you write out a will and
Yes,
include your
please.
gay best friends in there?
Say
please?
at least 10,000 each. Sorry, Nico. Sorry.
We'll help you kill Daisy. I mean,
Cyanide or insulin. Oh shit! Never mind. I'm not teaching people how to commit murder.
Is this wine?
Is this safe? My advice is to. It sounds. I guess she gives the logical side. I give the cheesy. Logical side. I give the cheesy side of it. Is like, don't forget to let people know how you feel about them, and don't forget to let people know what you want, and like at your funeral or just like in general, like, I love you, and just know that even if I pass tomorrow, like, these are exactly how I felt about you. Because some people like dwell on that, and
Yeah, because
like,
think about it. Some people are gonna die tomorrow.
yeah, they are going to fucking die tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so it's like very important to just be. No, it is. It's true. People die every day. Today is not fucking promised. So tomorrow or tonight, tell
Take your
your
life.
sister you love her. Tell your mom that you love her. Tell your dog that you love him.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow's not promised. And so don't
It's
forget
true.
to let those little things be known, because it's tomorrow's just not promised. So just say I love you. Or just let somebody know that they make a difference in your life.
my advice would be to just live life to its fullest. And I know that's very vague, very like, okay,
We've said that probably
cheesy.
20 times
Yeah,
on this podcast, but
I
I
don't know
agree
if you
with
got
it
the
though.
message. Live your life. Seize the day.
But we went to a store recently, and there was a little, you know, like those little cute signs, like
loved
with
it.
little sayings on them.
Yeah.
There was a quote on it, and it said, "One day your life will flash in front of your eyes. Make sure it's worth watching."
I love that. Don't you love that?
And I was like, oh my gosh, you know
Looked
how
up a little bit.
Mine will be very pornographic, but I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Like, yeah, don't be afraid to say, hey, I try that shit. Like, sometimes I liked it, sometimes I didn't.
My life was XXX rated, but pero you still can watch it.
Yeah, they make a movie out of it.
But I loved it. I loved
Kim
seeing that,
Kardashian.
and it just made me think about it. Like, I literally was like, oh my gosh, you're right. Like,
Very
one
simple.
day your life will flash in front of you, and I would want
Jesus Gomez.
my life to just be like, oh my gosh, I did so much. Like, I was so happy, and you know, I did all this stuff, and I explored, and I got to, you know, travel, and you know, all that stuff. I would love that.
That's another big one. Travel. Please travel if you can.
Got it.
From all three of us, please travel.
So yeah.
That's
Okay,
why I'm broke
yeah.
right now.
Alrighty, guys. Well, we'll see you guys again next week. on another episode of One.
Thanks for
Talks.
listening.
Yay! It'll be much happier next week.
Yeah, sorry for the...
We'll just talk about sex next week.
Ooh! What a complete opposite.
Makes me feel alive.
Can't wait till Monday.
Or tomorrow.
Or every day.
Don't waste time.
Good night.
Bye.
Alrighty, guys. Bye.